I want to watch something completely different today.
This is sadly the most...
Let's watch this Atozy video about the most horrifying IRL stream ever broadcasted.
IRL stream ever broadcasted, because during the stream, a fan struck the streamer 55 times the blade on a Tokyo street.
What the fuck?
In front of thousands of live viewers, then picked up the stream and continued streaming until the police showed up. It's hard to even put it in words of how horrific all of this was. And a little over a year later, we finally know why this happened and how long he's going to prison for it. And quick warning, this is definitely a heavier video than usual, but I wanted to talk about it because I'm just surprised at how little coverage there actually was from this incident. And I'm also kind of shocked at what the punishment ended up being for the man who did all this. But it's just terrifying to think that a parasocial relationship between an influencer and their public can spiral so far out of control that they end up doing something as extreme as this. But this case happened in 2025, and at the time, all we had was the immediate aftermath, an arrest, a horrifying motive, and a string of eerie similar incidents happening to other streamers within the same few weeks. But now, more than a year later, the trial is over, a sentence has been handed down, and honestly, some of the stuff that came out during the actual court proceedings is even more disturbing than what we knew back then. So this nightmare starts in March 11th of 2025 at around 9:50 in the morning. Airi Sato was walking through the Takodanababa area of Tokyo's Shinjuku ward, live streaming on a Japanese platform called Who Watch. She'd been working on a project where she was walking along the Yamanote line, a train loop that circles around central Tokyo, and it's extremely popular with both tourists and locals. And here she was streaming the entire route live for audience. But what was supposed to just be another regular IRL stream turned into a complete nightmare within seconds when Sato suddenly stepped out of frame and started screaming. Then the guy picked up the stream phone and started looking into the camera. According to the reporting at the time, the stream captured Sato lying on the ground, visibly injured, with the attacker standing over her, asking if she was still alive before kicking her. And more than 6,000 people were watching all of this unfold live, completely unable to do anything but witness it all. And that all happened at 9:50 in the morning, and around 10.
Chat, would you, if you saw this, would you turn it off or would you keep watching? Yeah, I'd probably call the police, but I'd probably keep watching.
10 minutes later, police got a call.
No, because like I feel like I could be like a witness, you know?
At 10 in the morning, and they arrived shortly later. And when they did so, they found Sato with wounds in her head, neck, and abdomen. She was then rushed to the hospital, but didn't make it and passed away less than 2 hours later.
Holy
While the man
fuck.
responsible, Kenichi Takano, he was arrested right there at the scene. However, the thing is, as the story started circulating and reports came out, we later discovered that this wasn't some random attacker who just happened to cross paths with Sato that morning. You see, Takano had been watching her streams for years, and he'd even become a regular customer at the hostess bar where she worked, going back to around 2022. And over that time, he says he sent her money repeatedly, totaling somewhere around 2.5 million yen, which comes out to roughly $16,000. So he was a massive donor, and donations, they're fairly normal in the streaming world, but this much money is definitely something to raise your eyebrows at. But again, like if you look at any of the top streamers, especially the women, you can often find individual donors who have donated this much or way more. But for some reason, he was framing it as a loan for her living expenses. And again, what makes this case especially so awful is obviously she's not here, so we don't have her side of the story. So for all we know, she was thinking that he was donating to her in the start. But when police first questioned him, Takano told them that he'd raised the money through his own savings and by taking out consumer loans, and that he made up his mind to attack Sato because she wouldn't pay him back. So my question then is, okay, was he donating to her and then suddenly changed his mind and wanted the money back? Or is this some sort of arranged deal between the two of them? But at the same time, he also claimed that he didn't mean to take her life, which is also pretty hard to believe because, you know, he tracked her public location, traveled to meet her, and then struck her 55 times with a blade. This is absolutely premeditated. Everything about this case is just so gruesome. And that's also just the other detail that made this so eerie and unsettling, because this wasn't random. Takano had reportedly seen Sato announce her Yamanote line live stream in advance, and he used that announcement to figure out exactly where she would be. So in other words, the same platform that was supposed to connect her with an audience is what led him to find and ambush her. Also, the week this happened to Sato, you had also crazy other events that happened to other female IRL streamers.
This is the girl that scammed the fan out of millions. I don't know though. Is that what happened? Like, again, it kind of like Atozy says, it's like we don't know her side of the story, right? There's always two sides to a story.
Earlier, streamers Valkyrie, Sin, and Emeru, they were confronted by an aggressive man at Santa Monica Pier who demanded their numbers, followed them around, and got physically threatening after he was rejected.
Go ahead. Right now. You right now. You right now. Security, please, please. Security.
And then the same
I
night,
would've fucking
Twitch and
shot that
Kick
guy.
streamers Amaranth's home was broken into by masked robbers demanding crypto. And she was also
The
whipped
guy would have got the Mozambique.
with a weapon.
It's LA, you can't? What do you mean? I lived in California. I had a gun. I carried a gun everywhere in California.
Before her husband managed to scare the intruders off with his own firearm. So this was just a very crazy week on the internet. And other creators spoke up around the same time as well. Because you had Japanese streamer Miyako Lowell saying that she had
the
to
husband
stop
had a gun and
and
shot
go
him. Oh, based husband?
to the police multiple times because people wouldn't stop following her during her IRL streams. And that's why she had to stop her IRL streams altogether. So this is a horrific, sad reality to a very popular job. But going back to Takano's trial, it took place under Japan's lay judge system, which basically means regular citizens sit alongside of professional judges to help decide the verdict and sentence serious criminal cases. So during this trial, prosecutors laid out just how brutal the attack actually was. Sato was attacked at least 55 times across her face, neck, and chest, and prosecutors argued that Takano kept going after she was begging him to stop. And the whole attack reportedly lasted for around a minute. But the judge later described what Takano did after the attack, including using Sato's phone while it was still live and kicking her, was a continued violation of her dignity, separate from taking her life. And the prosecutors asked for a 20-year sentence, which sounds incredibly low to me.
What?
Especially for
Wait, he hunted her down, murdered her on camera. Not even like a normal murder. Like it was obviously like a hateful, like a super, not hateful is not the right word. What's the word? Brutal. That's what I'm looking for. Brutal. Absolutely fucking brutal murder, right? Like it stabbed the fuck out of her 50 times and then kicked her while she was on the ground. Like 20?
Such a gruesome and deliberate attack. But Takano's defense, on the other hand, they asked for 9 years. So they argued that Takano had tried to get his money back through an actual civil lawsuit first. And he apparently won it technically, since a court did order Sato to repay him. But she told him that she didn't have the money. According to the defense, that failed attempt to recover the debt through legal means left him financially and emotionally spiraling to the point where he was contemplating taking his own life. But again, we don't have her side of the story. I am horrified that this is one of those moments where he donated a bunch of money to her. She assumed it was a donation, so she might have spent that money, and then suddenly he wanted the money back. I don't know if this is the case here, but I've absolutely heard of that a bunch of times. I also don't know how Japan's legal system looks at streamer donations, so that could also be why he won the court case. But his lawyers also argued that Takano is on the autism spectrum, and this contributed to the impaired impulse control, claiming that he only meant to disfigure Sato's face rather than take her life.
Wait,
I mean,
what?
in my opinion, that is—
Wait, hold on. Autistic people have less impulse control? Is that a thing? Hey, yo, Grok, is this true? I love that we can do this. This is amazing. Here, we'll let it run.
Doesn't change anything. Put him beneath the prison regardless. Like, no matter what, this was a planned, gruesome attack. But on—
All right, here we go. On average, group level evidence shows that autistic people have greater difficulties with impulse control, especially inhibitory control, than non-autistic people. Direct message, indirect, neurologically atypical activity, connectivity, front parallel networks, dorsolateral and ventrolateral prefrontal cortex, anterior cingulate, and related circuits are frequently reported. Interesting. All right. Well, I guess it's true.
July 15th, 2026, the Tokyo District Court found Takano guilty and sentenced him to 16 years in prison. That's 4 years short of what the prosecutors asked for, but quite above what the defense pushed for. So presiding judge Sunichi Ido called the attack a cruel crime that caused enormous pain and suffering, and specifically pointed out the fact that Takano had struck Sato in the neck with enough force to demonstrate what the court called a firm intention to take someone's life. As for the autism argument, the judge did acknowledge that Takano's condition may have played some role, but ultimately rejected it as an excuse. And she continued by stating plainly that actions may spiral out of control even without such a condition. Apparently, the court did take into account that Takano genuinely believes Sato had financially wronged him, and that this belief appears to have been the actual motive rather than anything else. But also, I mean, she owed him some money that he seemingly donated to her. So I don't see how that's a reasonable response for anyone to do. It's very straightforward. If you cannot afford to give $16,000 to a streamer, whether it's a donation or a loan, don't do it. If you have to go out and take loans to loan someone money, please don't do that. But if you do find yourself in a situation where you do so, and they don't pay you back, I'm sorry. That's on you as well. You can't go take their life. And the irony of all this is now he's sitting in prison for 16 years because he felt like she owed him $16,000. So now he lost $16,000 and 16 years of his life. But also, he is so lucky it was only 16 years of his life, because in most other countries, that would be a whole lot more. At the time of recording this video, there's no public indication of an appeal being filed by either side. So as of right now, this is where this case rests. But honestly, what's even more worrying is just in the last few years, you've had 2 separate cases that were very similar. Because in 2025, a Korean streamer passed away, and a viewer who had reportedly donated tens of thousands of dollars to her was arrested in connection with this case. And just now, just days before Takano's sentencing, a South Korean stock market YouTuber in his 40s was attacked multiple times in Busan by a man in his 20s who police say had lost money following his advice. And the suspect reportedly tracked a YouTuber down to a commercial building and attacked him before fleeing the scene, though he was arrested a couple hours later. Thankfully, this YouTuber did survive, but he did get some serious injuries. So, I mean, overall, this is just a scary time, because as, I guess, live streaming and content creation becomes more popular and more people start doing it, now we're seeing more people getting attacked for their content. But looking at all these cases, there is a common thread running through all of them, because it seems like these are all viewers who are attacking the creator, some because of parasocial relationship and others for just following stupid financial advice. But these parasocial relationships can easily get really scary for a small number of people, because these interactions can gradually become something way bigger in their own minds. So they start expecting something in return, whether that's attention, a friendship, or just a level of personal obligation that simply doesn't exist. And in the case in Japan and South Korea, most likely these men wanted validation, hence why they were giving these women money. But unfortunately, when reality didn't match their expectations, disappointment sometimes might turn into resentment. And in the rarest and most extreme cases, that resentment can clearly become very dangerous. It's also a concern that platforms have increasingly acknowledged as well. After the series of incidents that happened to Valkyrie, Emaru, Senna, and Amaranth, Twitch said that it was horrified by any kind of harassment or abuse, even when it happens off the platform, adding that its own safety teams were actively looking into the issue. And I guess even though that Takano was ultimately sentenced to 16 years in prison, it also fell well short of what prosecutors had requested. But more importantly, no sentence changes what happened to Sato, and nothing about this verdict brings her back. And I'm kind of just at a loss for words for what happened, and I just hope nothing like this happens again. But unfortunately, I don't think we'll be that lucky. Security, man. You gotta have security, or they carry a weapon. I guess she couldn't. I mean, there's really no shot. No shot in a place like Japan, though, right? Pendrell's Box, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you, Aaron Dill Mariner as well. And White Karen as well. Thank you for the 200. Technically won in court. Bro is firming the fuck out of this. Funko Ben, thank you so much for the sub as well. And Rognar, thank you for the 100. Is it parasocial if you're actually friends with a streamer? No, I don't think so. But yeah, man, that's crazy. What a crazy story. And only like, was it only 20? And they said like maybe it's gonna be 9. That's crazy. So put them in the box.